When we talk about success, when we speak of achievement, when we dream of transformation, the mind often imagines grand victories, huge accomplishments that seem to change everything in one decisive moment. We imagine winning the championship, closing the $1 million deal, publishing the bestseller, or standing on the stage receiving applause. These images are inspiring, but they are also misleading. Because the truth is, those massive, life-changing results are never born in a single moment. They are not miracles, nor are they accidents. They are the product of something smaller, something quieter, something so easily overlooked that most people dismiss it: small wins. Small wins are the foundation of lasting success because they are repeatable, sustainable, and achievable. They may not carry the fireworks of a big breakthrough, but they hold the real power to shape your future. Think of them as the seeds that, when planted and nurtured, grow into mighty trees. Without those seeds, the tree could never exist. And without small wins, big results can never take root. You see, human beings are wired to chase the spectacular. We want transformation to happen fast. We want the 6-month fitness transformation, the overnight business success, the instant recognition. But what we often forget is that behind every headline story lies years of unseen, uncelebrated effort, tiny improvements, quiet victories, steady steps forward. A writer finishes a masterpiece because they sat down every day, even on the days when they didn't feel like it, and wrote a single page. An athlete breaks a record because they trained consistently, even when the crowd wasn't watching, even when the improvements were too small for anyone else to notice. A leader inspires thousands because they first learned to inspire themselves, day after day, through small disciplines and private victories. Small wins are powerful because they create momentum. Imagine trying to push a giant boulder up a hill. At first, it seems impossible. The boulder doesn't move, and your effort feels wasted. But then you manage to shift it slightly. That small movement, though tiny, is proof that progress is possible. And once you see the boulder move, your belief grows. You push again, and this time it rolls a little further. With each effort, the resistance weakens, and the momentum strengthens. Before long, what once felt immovable begins to roll on its own. That is the effect of small wins. They prove to you that movement is possible, that change is possible, and that your efforts are not in vain. But let's take this even deeper. Small wins do more than just create external progress, they reshape your identity. Every small victory is like a vote cast for the person you want to become. When you complete a workout, you're not just burning calories, you're proving to yourself October
that you are
3rd,
disciplined.
7:12 p.m., high voltage Shan, Japanese symbol for beginner. Rajput high voltage. With each effort, the resistance weakens, and the momentum strengthens. Before long, what once felt immovable begins to roll on its own. That is the effect of small wins. They prove to you that movement is possible, that change is possible, and that your efforts are not in vain. But let's take this even deeper. Small wins do more than just create external progress, they reshape your identity. Every small victory is like a vote cast for the person you want to become. When you complete a workout, you're not just burning calories, you're proving to yourself that you are disciplined. When you study a little longer, you're not just learning facts, you're showing yourself that you are someone who. October 3rd, 7:17 p.m., high voltage Shan, Japanese symbol for beginner. Rajput high voltage values growth. When you make your bed, wake up early, or resist a distraction, you're sending yourself a powerful message: I am the kind of person who follows through. Over time, these small wins accumulate, and your self-image transforms. You no longer need to rely on willpower alone, because your identity supports your actions. You no longer just try to act disciplined, you become disciplined. You no longer just try to feel confident, you become confident. This is why small wins are more powerful than massive bursts of effort that quickly fade. Anyone can commit to a big push for a day or a week. But what transforms a life is the ability to create small wins consistently, to stack them day after day, until they become second nature. The true test of success is not whether you can achieve something extraordinary once, but whether you can achieve something ordinary consistently. Because ordinary, repeated enough times, becomes extraordinary. Think about it like this: if you try to climb a mountain in one giant leap, you will fail. The mountain is too high, the leap is too far, and the energy required is too great. But if you take one step at a time, if you focus only on the ground before you, you will eventually reach the summit. And when you look back, you will see that it wasn't a single giant effort that brought you to the top, but thousands of small, steady steps. Small wins are also vital because they lower the barrier to action. One of the greatest enemies of progress is the feeling of being overwhelmed. You set a goal so big that it paralyzes you. You want to lose 50 pounds, write a 500-page book, or build a successful business, and suddenly the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels unbearable. But when you break that massive goal into small, achievable steps, you create a path forward. You don't have to lose 50 pounds today, you only need to make a healthier choice for lunch. You don't have to write a book tonight, you only need to write. You don't have to write a book tonight, you only need to write a page. You don't need to build an empire in a week, you only need to make one phone call, send one email, learn one new skill, and the moment you achieve that small win, you realize the mountain is not so intimidating after all. And here lies the hidden beauty of small wins: they create a feedback loop of confidence. Each small win reinforces your belief that you are capable, that you can improve, that you are moving in the right direction. Confidence is not built in a single moment of triumph, it is built in the quiet repetition of small victories. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to rely on your own actions. You begin to know, deep in your bones, that you can follow through on your intentions. And once you trust yourself, nothing can stop you, because you no longer doubt your ability to act. Now, let's consider another dimension: the emotional fuel that small wins provide. Success is not only about discipline and effort, it's also about staying motivated long enough to reach the finish line. And motivation, as we all know, comes and goes. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel excited. But small wins provide a constant source of energy, because they give you immediate proof of progress. Imagine setting a goal that takes years to achieve. If you wait until the end to celebrate, you will lose heart long before you arrive. But if you break the journey into milestones, if you allow yourself to celebrate small wins along the way, you stay energized, you stay motivated, and you keep moving forward. For example, a student preparing for a difficult exam doesn't just celebrate on the day of the final result. They celebrate when they master a chapter, when they solve a tough problem, when they score higher on a practice test. Those small wins remind them that progress is happening. They keep the fire alive. They ensure that the long journey does not feel endless, but filled with moments of achievement. Another truth about small wins is that they ripple outward. They may start in one area of your life, but their influence spreads. When you succeed in building one small habit, you gain the confidence to build another. When you win in one area, you carry that momentum into others. A person who starts exercising regularly often finds themselves eating better, sleeping better, and working with more focus. A person who begins reading daily soon becomes more articulate, more thoughtful, more confident in conversations. Small wins are contagious. They multiply. And before long, the person you were when you started looks nothing like the person you have become. But here's the catch: small wins require patience. And patience is rare in today's world. We are conditioned for speed. We want instant gratification. We want results now. But small wins remind us that greatness is not rushed, it is built. The oak tree takes years to grow, the diamond takes pressure over time, and success requires patience through countless small steps. This is why so many people give up before they reach the big results. They don't see the power in small wins. They dismiss them as too insignificant. They think, what difference does it make if I read 10 minutes a day? If I save a few dollars? If I practice for 15 minutes? But over time, those small wins, compounded, make all the difference. The tragedy is not that people aim too high and fail, it's that they fail to value the power of starting small. Small wins also protect you from burnout. If you try to do too much at once, you will exhaust yourself. But if you focus on small, manageable wins, you create a sustainable rhythm. You don't need to sprint the entire marathon, you only need to take the next step. And when you build this rhythm, success becomes inevitable, not because you did something extraordinary, but because you never stopped doing the ordinary. So, let us reframe the way we see progress. Instead of measuring success only in big milestones, let us measure it in small wins. Instead of waiting for the giant breakthrough, let us celebrate the daily victories. Instead of dreaming of the massive transformation, let us commit to the small, steady actions that make it real. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is undeniable: small wins are not small at all. They are the foundation, the proof, the momentum, and the identity shift that make big results possible. When you wake up tomorrow, don't search for the giant leap. Search for the small win. Take the small step. Build the small habit. And know that each one is a brick in the structure of your future, each one is a vote for the person you are becoming, each one is a piece of the masterpiece you are creating. And if you trust the process, if you stay patient, if you honor the power of small wins, you will one day look back and realize that everything you have built, everything you have become, and everything you have achieved was made possible because you chose to value the small when others ignored it. That is the quiet truth of success. Not the loud, flashy moment of glory, but the steady rhythm of small wins, compounding into greatness. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this message, remember this: greatness is not built in one leap, but in countless small steps. Every small win you create today is a seed planted for the extraordinary life you dream of tomorrow. Do not underestimate the power of the little things, for in the end, they are the very things that shape everything. Stay patient, stay consistent, and let your small wins carry you toward the big results you deserve. This is where transformation begins, and this is how it lasts. You chose to value the small when others ignored it. That is the quiet truth of success. Not the loud, flashy moment of glory, but the steady rhythm of small wins, compounding into greatness. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this message, remember this: greatness is not built in one leap, but in